Hello and welcome back. It's Amanda from Hookemcreations, and today is another free pattern. You guessed it, we're making little pumpkins. It's fall, guys. I am so excited. This is my CroKnit pumpkin. That's a fun term. I did not coin that term. I did not make it up, but I heard it from another creator over on TikTok, and I said, I'm going to use that term now for the crochet knit projects. All you will need is a circular knitting machine. Any size works, okay? It could be a little one, it could be a big one. It doesn't matter. I'm using the Addi king size machine, so it's going to be the 40 plus pin. So if you want to follow along and do exactly what I am doing, then yeah, you're going to need that. Next thing you're going to need a crochet hook, an H5mm crochet hook. You're also going to need stuffing, a tapestry needle or sewing needle of some kind for yarn, and you're going to need two or more colors, whatever your fancy is, and obviously some polyfill. This is very easy to work up, great for markets. I've made a bunch of these for markets, and this was always like a big seller, especially when it is pumpkin season. And y'all, I'm so ready to make some pumpkins for fall because I'm ready for fall. I don't know about y'all, so let's get to it. All right, to start off, make sure your counter is set to 0. And since we're going to be closing it up, cinching it up, you don't need a super long tail, just like 6 to 8 inches. So we're going to go ahead and place that in there and go ahead and cast on like you normally would. Make sure your yarn gets caught by your machine. And you're going to go for 35 rounds. And this is 35. And there. From here, I'm going to go ahead and make a nice long string because I am going to need my yarn needle. Okay, get my yarn needle. I am cutting a nice long string because I am going to be using it to sew up the pumpkin, which I will show in a moment after I cast this off of the machine here. So, all right, so I'm just going to go ahead, nice long tail, about, go ahead and do about 18 inches. That should be fine. And here, just go ahead and pull it so the stitches can relax a little bit. Okay, so it looks like a rectangle like that. And this is for the single wall. If you want to double it, so fold it inside out so you don't really see a whole lot of the stuffing, then I suggest doing 70 rows. So double it, fold it in, and then what you would do is you would stitch the edge to close it up. So I'm going to get this machine out of the way, and then I'm going to show you how to put the pumpkin together. All right, so you have your piece of fabric here. Let's start with the bottom. Go ahead and start, cinching that up. Make sure all the stitches are facing inward, kind of like you would for a hat. Here. Just kind of cinch it up like that. There you go. That's one side. And so we'll make that the bottom. You basically made a little baby hat, which I've done that before for my son. From here, you're going to take your stuffing and you want to declump it. So if you remember from my amigurumi tutorial, you just kind of want to pull the stuffing apart a little bit so it's declumped. Otherwise, it will look all lumpy, which I mean is not a bad thing because pumpkins are a little lumpy. But if you want to have like a nice little flat pumpkin, then I suggest not having it clumped up. Okay, so, and you don't want to overstuff it because the knit stitches will stretch. That's why a lot of people will double it up so that way they don't see the stuffing. And I'm okay with a little bit of stuffing because it's fun. It's handmade. It's not a real pumpkin. But I am so ready for the pumpkin season. I'm so ready for fall. All right. And let's see here. I can add a little bit more. Let's go ahead and add this, like the last bit of my stuffing that I have down here, before I have to go back to my storage and get some more. Ahead and put that in there, and you're going to go ahead and start cinching it up. If it looks like it's not completely full, that's okay because you're going to basically sew the pumpkin up here in a minute. Okay, so it looks like a nice ball. So what's going to happen is you're going to take your extra yarn and you're basically going to squish it and you're going to create some lines and do it that way. So, which is totally fine, which is going to be fun. So from here, take your yarn and thread it through a yarn needle. I'm going to get my larger yarn needle for this because it just makes it easier to feed through a mound of stuffing. So here, I'm going to go ahead and feed it through the middle first. And pull it through. And the first thing I'm going to do, just to kind of start things off, is I'm going to go ahead and tie both ends to each other. Just do a simple little knot here. Just to kind of get it going. Just like that. But we're not going to cut it off just yet. What you're going to do is you're going to take your yarn, oops, out of range. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your yarn and you're going to fold it in, go up and over, and stitch it through the middle again. Just like that. And you're going to go ahead and pull it in a little bit so you can get that that little pumpkin line. Then you're going to do it again, going in the opposite direction. Doing like these huge whip stitches all the way around. I'm going to do it 4 times. Now you're going to the other direction. So you have your northeast, do your south, northeast, southwest directions. And there we go. And from here, to finish it up, I'm going to go ahead and stitch it, or just knot it up. Here. And what I am going to do, because I want this to be the bottom and this to be the top, I'm going to take both strings and thread them through. You can always make like this the top and the other side the bottom, but just like you can be the judgment on what side you want it to be on. Just like that. It's not overly stuffed like I normally do, but this is what I have, what stuffing I have down here. But now the next part is adding the stem and the vine. So we're going to set that over to the side and start the stem and vine. All right, next we are going to make the stem of the pumpkin. I have my 5mm hook and some worsted weight yarn. I chose green. You're welcome to pick like a brownish color if you would like. I've done both, so this is what I had available at the time. So I'm going to go ahead and do a magic circle. You're welcome to do a chain 2. This is what's comfortable for me. And you're going to single crochet 6 in the magic circle. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Go ahead and tighten that up. Now I am not going to I'm not going to have a stitch marker for this, because all you're going to be doing is doing single crochets all the way in around until you reach the desired length of your stem. So from here, just single crochet all the way around, making yourself a stem. And you just keep going all the way around until you reach the length that you want it to be. All right, I made mine the length that I want it to be, so it'll stick up just a little bit, because some pumpkin stems are really, really short, and that is okay with me. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off. We'll need that shortly to make the vine. But I'm going to go ahead and stitch this onto, actually no, I'm not going to stitch it on just yet. We're going to go ahead and make the vine. So let's go ahead and make the vine, and it's really, really easy, super, super, super simple. What you're going to do is you're going to make a slip knot, like so, and you're going to chain 20. I'm actually going to do 21, sorry. So chain for 21, because you're going to do 2 single crochet in the second stitch, from the second chain from your hook, and you're going to do 2 single crochet in each stitch going all the way down. And this will cause your chain foundation to start curling. And in the last stitch, go ahead and do 2 single crochet and slip stitch, and go ahead and cut yourself a little bit of extra tail, because you will use that to kind of tie everything at the end. So see, your vine is nice and curly and bouncy, and it will go nice and cute with your pumpkin, just like that. All right, so let's get to sewing the stem and the vine to your pumpkin. So I got my little orange one. I got my little bent needle here just in case, but I'm going to use my little orange one here that I've been using lately for my little ducky project. So I've been setting that aside into doing my little ducks for my Jeep. So from here, go ahead and feed it into a needle, and I'm going to go ahead and go into the middle and bring it out like that, so it can kind of sit straight up from your pumpkin. You can always add stuffing into your stem, or like even a pipe cleaner if you want to, just to give it some like sturdiness. I didn't put anything in it this time. I think I used to put stuffing in it just to give it a little extra stiffness, but I just, for the purpose of this video, I didn't do any of that. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and start whip stitching the stem to the pumpkin gourd, because that's pretty much what pumpkins are. They're gourds. Gourd is a funny word to say. Just kind of do that all the way around. Ah, I lost my yarn. And the reason why I haven't tied off my orange strings is in case, like, I accidentally made this too short to whip stitch it around. I have those just in case. You never know. You can try and prepare yourself for pretty much anything, but there's always going to be that one time that your brain is not functioning and you forgot to do something. So and we're going to go ahead and close that up. Take the 2 green strings here, tie that up nice and tight. There. And I'm going to go ahead and take the 2 strings, thread them on my needles here. And I'm going to go ahead and feed it up because it's green. And cut those. So now you got a little stem for your pumpkin. Next comes the easy part, attaching the vine. Again, I made this too short, so it's a good thing. Well, this is really easy to do. So all I'm going to take the long line. And depending on where I want to place it, I think I want to do it right here. Pretty dang close to it. I'm going to go ahead and go there under that stem, like so. And since I have a little tail here, I am going to go ahead and just tie it. Like that. And I'm going to go ahead and take my larger needle, again, stick it in the middle. And go ahead and pull that through. Take this, same thing, but this is a little bit larger so I don't stick it in first. And I'm going to go ahead and snip those. Oop. And then the extra orange yarn, I'm going to go ahead and seam it through the pumpkin here And we're going to cut that off. And same thing again with this one. Nothing fancy, really. And there you go. You made yourself a little pumpkin. Is that easy to make? All you need is your circular knitting machine and a crochet hook, and that's it. That's my CroKnit pumpkin. There are some ways to support this channel. One is to hit the subscription button and like the video, share it with other friends, and leave me a comment down in the comments section. Because this is a free pattern, feel free to buy me a coffee. The link is in the description below. And until next time, happy crafting.